In this video, we're going to talk about the RV industry, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and we're going to try and do an in-depth dive to find out what's really going on behind the scenes. A little bit of behind the scenes curtain look. Hey, I'm Chuck with Lake to Lake. I've about made every mistake in the book when it comes to RVing, and some things have cost me a lot of money, some things have cost me embarrassment. My goal is to keep you from making the same mistakes I made so you can have a stress-free camping environment and you and your spouse will be happy. Okay, let's dig right in. RV sales are soft. According to Statistical Surveys Incorporated, sales are down for all of 2026. And RV sales are just struggling. That's the bottom line. February, they were down over 24%. March, they were down over 21%. Motorhomes were down, we go by categories. Motorhome was down 13%. Travel trailers down over 22%. Fifth wheels down over 21%. You wrap the whole thing up in a bundle, sales are down over 21% for March. Now, I need to add a little footnote to this. The high-end units that are purchased by people with the wherewithal and the resources to buy high-end units, whether it's a fifth wheel or a high-end camper van or a Class A or a Class B or C or a high-end fifth wheel, those are selling. It's the mid-range and the low-end that aren't selling. So now that we see that RV sales are down over 20% for the last 2 months in a row, we can only assume one thing, that RVers are voting with their pocketbooks and they're choosing not to buy right now. So that leads to the second part. Sales are down. Let's talk about manufacturing. Manufacturing's down also. It's soft. And the manufacturers are finally reading the tea leaves, and they're producing less units because there's less demand. And they're trying to prevent the dealers from getting overloaded with inventory that they can't sell. And right now we're at a switch. 27s are coming on board. So we got 20 leftover 25s, 26s, which is 26, and we got the new models of 27s coming in. And so it makes it tough to sell the 25s at a reasonable price. 26s are, so-so, but the 27s that hit the market, those are going to be the ones that are going to be in demand. And we can look at this chart for the RV wholesale shipment summaries. As you can see, the bottom line is, as compared to last year, we're down over 17%. And that's just the bottom line. If you want to zoom in and look at closer look at that, you can. And if you like a chart, here's a chart. The gold is 2025 manufacturing numbers, and the dark colors 2026. As you can see, manufacturing is down. Okay, now let's do a deep dive and to figure out exactly what's going on in the industry. Number one, inventory is still a major problem. Many dealers are sitting on way too much inventory. There's reports out that some of the inventory is getting up to 195 days old. They're sitting on the lots way too long. Any unit that sits on an RV lot for more than 90 days, the financing costs kick in, and it costs them a lot more money. And they need to move those units before they hit that 90-day threshold. And at 195 days for aging, that's just a good way to lose money and go out of business. So dealers are coming up with incentives, discounts, and financing packages to help people buy them. And they're just not being very successful yet. One of the problems is interest rates. Interest rates have not come down. The administration keeps talking about it, but the bottom line is, when it comes to financing, people with marginal credit are having a tough time buying new RVs. One of the reasons, they want a bigger down payment, or they want a higher interest rate with people with marginal credit. And people are making the decision that they just can't afford the down payment, or they can't afford the higher payment. That's just the bottom line. The payment's too high. Dealers have too much inventory. Many dealers have units on from previous production runs of RVs. That means they're 2025s and 2026s. And those are hard to sell because now the 27s are out. And manufacturers don't want to flood the dealers, so that's one of the reasons we're seeing the reduction in manufacturing is the manufacturers know that if the dealers get in trouble, then the manufacturers are going to get in trouble. So if they cut back the units they're making, they're going to hopefully allow the dealers to make money and keep the profits up a little bit on the units that they do sell. Higher interest rates. Higher interest rates are just really hurting the industry right now. You could finance an RV in 2021 or 2022, save 2 or 3 points, and that could be several $100s of payments each month. And people, when they were going and shopping back in the pandemic area, they were getting really good financing rates, and now they're not. And most people that are out shopping for new RVs, they're taking a good hard look at the financing and the used market, or they're just delaying it. Number 4, consumer confidence. Consumer confidence has softened with job security going on, AI going on, layoffs going on. Nobody feels real secure in their job, and most of the families now are 2-income families. And everybody kind of knows that once you get that 2-income family going, that you tend to spend what you make. And people are hesitant to go out on a limb right now because of job layoffs and the inflation and the price of gasoline. Grocery costs are up, fuel costs are up. So, those are ones you have to buy. You got to make your mortgage payments, you got to make your car payments, you got to make your insurance payments, you got to buy groceries, and you got to buy fuel. But you don't have to buy an RV. That's kind of the bottom line when it comes to the consumer confidence. Things turn around. They'll start buying again. Number 5, used RVs. Used RVs are starting to compete very favorably with the new RV market, because the used RV market's, number 1, you get one that's 2 or 3 years old, all the warranty work's taken care of, everything's working in it, they've got all the bugs worked out, all the little oddball things are working. Or you can buy one that's 2, 3, or 4 years old for $20,000, $25,000, or $30,000. That's a big chunk of savings, and you know it's working. Everything's working. You buy a brand new one, when it comes off the manufacturing, from the manufacturer to the dealer's lot, the dealer lots in some cases, when they're doing their PDI inspection, they're saying, no, we can't sell this. It's not. We got to get some work done on it. So if they're coming out of the factory not ready to sell, that's a problem, and we're going to discuss that later on. So the used market, people are taking a good hard look at it and realizing that the cost savings and the reliability and the quality has been brought up on the older units rather than the brand new ones. So now I want to talk about an RV. Now I want to talk about the RV Power Industry Breakfast that RV Business Magazine held in May. Basically, it brings together, I'm going to read this so I don't mix it. They bring together manufacturers, dealers, suppliers, and they discuss the economic outlook, retail trends, and the overall market as a whole. I'm going to kind of break this down. And they had a panel of 6 manufacturers up there, and they were kind of talking about the good, the bad, and as the more they got into it, and the more they became more comfortable and they relaxed a little bit, they had some really good, valid points to come out. And one of them, I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. As RVs become more comfortable and technology advanced, they have also become more complex. And that complexity has led to a decline in reliability. Nobody on that panel disagreed with that. None of them. And when you think about it, you got 12-volt electrical and 120-volt electrical system. You have a propane. You have 12-volt batteries, or you have a refrigerators run on 12-volt or 120-volt. You have a propane systems that heat your rig with your furnace, do your hot water heater, and you cook with. You have an air conditioning unit that could be 120-volt, could be 12-volt. you got solar panels, you got inverters, you got converters, and you got a battery bank, and you got Bluetooth, and you got self-leveling. So you got lots of things that have to work. Some of them have to work together, some of them are independent. But we've just had a lot of complexity, and they agree that this complexity has caused reliability problems. They also agree that quality is a problem in the industry, and they talk about that they want to address it. Now, from my point of view, they're not practicing what they preach. They're not making a good progress in getting the quality up on these units. One of the problems they see, and this is kind of behind the scenes, is you buy a brand new. I'm going to use my RV as an example. I buy a brand new RV, a Grand Design. I bring it home. 60 days later, my refrigerator breaks. Then my refrigerator breaks, and I go back to my dealer, and I tell my dealer, and they inspect it. They say, yeah, refrigerator's broken. We'll call Grand Design and see about getting you a new one. They send all the paperwork to Grand Design. Grand Design gets the paperwork, and they say, okay, well, I got to send that to the manufacturer of the refrigerator to get approval. Paperwork goes back and forth. There's some questions. They've missed some serial numbers or model numbers or whatever. Bottom line is, it takes on an average 2 weeks to get permission from the third-party vendor who makes the refrigerator to get that refrigerator replaced. Now, that's just 2 weeks to get the approval process done. Now, the dealer does not have that refrigerator sitting in their warehouse for warranty purposes. Grand Design may or may not have it, and if they don't have it, they have to order it. So the bottom line is, you get 2 weeks to get approval, and it could be 2 more weeks before it gets in, or it could be 2 months before it gets in. What they would like to see happen is they would like to see an over-the-counter warranty process where when I bring it in and it's bad and it should be covered under warranty, automatically somebody ships one. There's no questions. There's no paperwork trail. That all happens behind the scenes. Similar to what Apple does. Similar to what Menards Home Improvement Stores does, similar to what Harbor Freight does. You bring in a tool, it's broken, they give you a new one. You don't send it in, and you don't have to wait for the approval process. So anyway, we'll see if that can really happen in the industry, but they're pushing for that, and that will help some of the warranty and the time it takes to get warranty items fixed. Another one they talk about is they think that there needs to be more R&D done on the units before they ship them out. And here's kind of the thought on this. You go out and you design a really nice high-end unit with all the bells and whistles. And then you build it and you ship them out to the sales. They put them on the showroom floor, and you know everything works. Everything works fine. But then you go out and you drive it 10,000 miles and things start breaking because it can't handle the rolling earthquake on wheels, as we all talk about. And they want to make sure that these products can handle the long-term effects of driving down the road, because some of these products just aren't holding up, or the manufacturing process isn't holding up, or I don't want to talk about frame flex. Some of the products are failing because they're driving down the road with that rolling earthquake syndrome. So anyway, and they all know that. They just haven't figured out how to address that. But I think we're going to see maybe some products who are going to go through more rigorous testing before they put them into the RVs. And I think you're going to see some RVs figure out a better way to build them so that they stay together and the products work in them. So anyway, I think that'll wrap it up. We talked about sales down, manufacturing down. We tried to hit a few key points of why it's down. Industry's in a slump. There's no question about it. They've been in slumps before. They'll pull out. I'm sure we'll see some more consolidation in the industry. I'm sure we'll see some product lines that get dropped, but that's just part of business. And that's part of smart business. The manufacturers and dealers got to figure out a way to make money. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd want to subscribe, that would be great. It'd help my channel. And until I meet around the campfire, y'all take care now. Bye-bye.